Several different techniques can be used to render paths with the HTML5 canvas. Up to this point, I've shown the arc2 function, which can render some types of paths. And in this demonstration, I'm going to show the quadraticCurveTo function and show how it can be used with a control point and an endpoint. So to get started, I already have the context, a stroke style, and a line width set. And I'm going to come in and begin a path just like we normally would. And I'm going to move to a start area. So we're going to go to 50-50 on this one. Now, as a quick refresher from the previous discussion, what we're going to do is move to a position, define a control point down here at 5500, and then have an endpoint of 550. And what the HTML5 Canvas API behind the scenes will do is automatically draw a curve that kind of hugs these two lines that you see here, and then gradually rounds this out nicely. And if I move the line out this way, then the curve will be much broader. So to do that, we're going to come in and do a quadraticCurveTo call. And what I'm going to do is move to those same data points, 5500 and 550, and then we're going to stroke it. So if we run this, we should get a nice little line here, and there we go. Now if we wanted this to be a little more gradual on the swoosh side of things, on the curve, then we could certainly move this out. Right now our width is 800, so let's try to go out maybe 700. Run this, and you can see that we now have a nice little swoosh type of thing going on if we wanted that type of a shape in our canvas. So that's an example of quadratic curve and kind of a simple application. Now I have in my clipboard a function that also uses quadraticCurveTo as well. I'm going to paste that in. And this particular function also uses the move to and the line to that we looked at previously. And what it does is draw some lines, then draws a curve, draws a line and a curve, and we're going to get a rounded rectangle out of this. So now we're going to have a reusable function anytime we want to define one where we can pass in the context, the x and y coordinates of where to start, the width and the height, and the radius of the curves. And we're going to use those to define where the control points go and the endpoints. So if we come down in here, we'll go ahead and call rounded rect. We'll give it our context, 200 by 200, and a radius of 20 on the curves. So if we run this, we'll get a nice rounded rectangle as you see here. And now I have a reusable function I can call to do this type of thing. And I showed another way to do this with the arc2 as well. So you can kind of take your pick on which direction you want to go. The arc2 is actually a little bit less code, but this one's already done, and you could certainly take this and extend it if you'd like. So that's an example of how we can use the quadraticCurveTo to define a control point and then an endpoint, and how the canvas will take whatever we started out, go to that control point, and then nicely, gradually round out the curve along it to end up over here.